Steve, how excited are you for this win?
Oh man, it was great. My fourth time out here after the win against Nishan Burrell, and getting that second round finish feels great, man.
So many people, that they'll talk about learning from a loss. You, maybe by your own admission, put in there with Matt Brown a very, very tough test. I think people are appreciating more now, seeing where he's progressed. What did you take from that fight that we've seen now in this performance and the Nishan Burrell fight?
Not all fights are going to be. Am I going to finish on my feet? I'm going to go. Especially the welterweight division, stacked with awesome wrestlers. I got to work on my wrestling, got to work on my ground, and I'm getting better with it every day.
Do you think that now the label of kickboxers quickly, shedding that, Stephen Thompson, it's like people like to label fighters quite a lot, and we're seeing that evolution of your game fight after fight now?
Yeah, that was my background. I've done kickboxing my entire life, and MMA is still kind of new to me. So I'm still, my goal is to be the best fighter. And in order to do that, I got to work on my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu. So that way when I step out there in the fight, not only will they fear my striking, but I want them to fear my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu as well.
How is the conditioning level different from being a kickboxer to being an MMA fighter?
Man, kickboxing, it's 2-minute round, or 5. It goes all the way up to 12, but it's 2-minute rounds. When you go out there 5 minutes, that's a long time. People don't really understand and know what it feels like to go out there for 15 minutes, man. It's a different world.
Vince has a few tricky moves in his arsenal. Were you prepared for that?
Oh yeah, definitely. He's a karate guy too. He's a striker. He loves to throw spin technique, spin hammer fist, spin side thrust kicks, which you saw in the first round. I knew they were going to come, and I knew every time he threw a punch, he leaves himself open. So I know there was a spot, and I just got to wait for it.
Did the reach advantage play a big part in the finishing combo there, do you think?
Oh, definitely. I don't exactly know what his reach is. I got a 64.5 inch reach, so I knew my arms were going to be a little bit longer, and just use my distance and my speed and try to go for the finish.
Did you spend a lot of time in Montreal in the training for this fight?
Not for this fight. I do spend a lot of time there training with George and other fighters in there in TriStar camp, but not this time. I stayed home and brought guys in. Mike the Lion King from Florida, ATT. I brought him in. A guy from Ray Longo's gym, a guy named Robbie Plotkin. He's also a 170. So I got some good guys that come in and train me for this fight. Good strikers.
You mentioned how many great wrestlers are in 170. Are you the premier traditional martial artist in 170?
I wouldn't say that. You got other traditional stylists. George St Pierre, his background was karate. So there are other guys who started out in karate traditional styles and just evolved. And that's what I want to do. I want to evolve to the top of the game and be the best MMA fighter I can be.
What's that evolution felt like, just coming from such a traditional background and developing constantly into what we saw today, which was really well-rounded?
Growing up with just striking, it's a different world. The distance, because not only do you have to look for the striking, but they look to close that distance to shoot for the takedown. You got to look for that too. So it's just more aspects of the game you got to look for. It's not just looking out for your hands and feet. You got to look for takedowns. You got to look for sweeps. He did an awesome dragon tail sweep. I don't know if you saw that. He swept me in the first round. I was like, dang it. I thought about doing that in my head before the fight, and he beat me to it. So I was kind of disappointed on that, but it was awesome.
You were here being the away fighter. Does that make any difference for you at all when you're preparing? You're going against a guy who has the hometown crowd behind him?
Not really. I really don't think about it. I just go out there and do what I do. If the crowd has his back, that's okay. I'm just going to go out there and do my thing. I don't let that stuff get in my head. So.
Is there anything you feel that you can take from this fight to work on for your next one?
My grappling positions, actually. Maintaining my grappling position, just controlling them on the ground better.
How do you feel about fighting in Canada? Did you like it with the fans were respectful to you?
I love Canada, man. I love Canada. I spent a lot of time in Montreal. It's my first time to Toronto. The fans, the place is beautiful. I'd love to do it again.
Will you be working with George at all in preparation for his fight with Johnny Hendricks coming up in November?
We haven't talked. Actually, I'm going to talk to Faraz after this to see if they need any guys. He's fighting Johnny Hendricks. He's a heavy-handed dude. He's got one-shot knockout power, then one-hitter quitters, and if he has me in, I'll do my best to simulate Hendricks with his striking. So I definitely can't simulate his wrestling, but like I said, we'll see what happens.
Is there anyone in 170 that you'd like to fight next, like an Eric Silva or Sihar Badazada or something?
Man, there's only one guy that I really think of, and that's Matt Brown, my only loss. So I would love to fight him again. I think we put on a good show, and if I work my way up, hopefully we can do that again.
Now, Matt Brown has got a fight with Carlos Condit, who's another extremely traditional striker. Would you like to fight the winner of that?
Oh, that would be awesome. But like I said, we're at, two different ends of the spectrum, but you never know. You know, I might step up there and may get the call, but I think that's going to be an awesome fight to watch. The way Matt Brown's going, you know, Condit's going to have his hands full.
Who do you pick to win that fight?
Oh wow! Oh man, 2 high-level strikers. You know, good grinders. Oh man, that's a hard one, especially when you're talking about 2 high-level athletes like that. I would say Condit has the edge. I mean, just with the experience of being at that level, you know what I mean? His striking is definitely, he's a whole lot faster with his striking. I think all well-rounded with his striking. He's a lot better than Matt Brown. Matt Brown's got them heavy punches, but they're fairly basic. But the only thing is he's got to stop Matt Brown with those strikes. And Matt Brown's he's got a skull of granite. So it's hard to put him down with headshots. So we'll have to see. But I think Condit's got it.
Are you a fan of the fight game? Do you like watching other fights, or when you're off, do you just kind of chill and not care?
I'm one of those type of guys. I do this every day. I mean, if there's somebody that I help train or somebody super exciting, you know, Anderson Silva, George St Pierre, Chris Weidman, I love to sit down and watch those fights. But normally I like to just hang out with my family because I do this every day. And if UFC's on, I'm watching UFC. So
what do you do for fun?
For fun, I'm a movie buff, man. I love to go see movies. I love to hang out with my family. I got a brother who plays college football, so we'll sit around watching football. He plays for Elon University in North Carolina. I like to help my brother. I got another brother who fights MMA. He's a professional as well. He fights for Legacy, but I love to help him, man. He lives in Dallas, but we sit on the phone, we chat, and that's what I like to do, just hang out with friends and family, bro.
How does the sibling rivalry translate when it comes to MMA training?
We try to rip each other's heads off. You know, my brother Evan, he's the second oldest. He's a 185er. He's like 6'4". He's a big dude as well. But we scrap, man. We scrap. We go for it. You know, that's brotherly love right there for you.